Hey folks, welcome back to Dig Drive DIY. If you've been watching for a long time, then a few weeks ago, you caught the first video on this roller right here. I acquired this roller just as you see it, broken in the middle. It had a big pin that had sheared and completely broken in two. We tried an attempt to fix that pin. There was a lot of mixed reviews on whether or not it would work, but nevertheless, I want to move forward trying to get this thing mated back together. And then once we do so, we can see if it runs and operates. And well, if it does, I got a new tool in the driveway rehabilitation arsenal. First things first, let's see if we can get it lifted up in the air, and then we'll talk about it more.
Dig Drive DIY.
All right, I think this video deserves a little bit of a recap on the previous video because, well, there was a lot of controversy, a lot of talk in the comments. See, when this thing was brought to me, we were pretty sure that it would run and operate, but I'm not positive. So in order to try to get it up and running, I wanted to repair the part that was broken and then see if we could get it mated back together. And then once I knew I had a solid machine, I would move forward. I discussed all this in a Patreon video, actually over on Patreon, where I talked about the comments and how I felt and what I thought I was going to do. So if you want to know more and hear all about that, you can go over to Patreon and check it out. So if you didn't see that repair, I took that broken pin over to my father-in-law's. We drilled a hole in it. We mated the two together. We used some JB weld. We used some actual welding. We used a 1-inch repair pin. And boy, oh boy, did that spark some controversy. A lot of people think I'm going to kill myself if I put it together with the part we repaired. I don't feel that way, but we're going to find out what I do decide to do. But the first thing I need to do is figure out how to get this rigged up. I think, I got a lot of tools around here that can lift heavy equipment. So I'm going to see if I can get the mini skid loader in here and my big skid loader, and we'll get this thing raised up and then see if we can start to reassemble. So I just got these adjustable forks. I actually called Joe over at Illiana Attachments because I've always wanted a set that I could move in and out from the cab. And I just texted him and said, hey, I needed a set of adjustable forks, and he hooked me up. So thanks a lot, Joe at Illiana Attachments. I highly recommend them. Okay, we've got everything in position. First thing I need to do is, though, I need to still run the tap down in those bolt holes that I pulled out that had all the red Loctite in them. So we're going to clean them out so they're ready to go. A lot of people commented on how to extract this broken bolt in here too. They told me that I didn't want to be turning the nut when it was red hot, and I understand that because it expands. I welded a nut to the broken stud, and then I tried to extract it while it was still red hot. The reason I did that is because what you didn't see was there was at least 2 different times I had let the nut completely cool and tried to back it out, and it would not budge at all. This broken stud would not even turn, and I busted the nut off right away. So that's what led me to try to do it with it hot. Some people suggested that I just use an easy out and get it out. Well, I'm here to tell you, if the stud in there is so tight that it busted a 5/8 bolt off, you're never going to get an easy out to get it out. So kind of what I wound up doing is what my best option was, unfortunately, but now it looks good. All right, well, I've got all the threads chased on here. I've got that surface there cleaned up, ready for the repaired pin. And I think the next step, before I can do any reassembly, I've got to lift up the back. So I'm going to try to lift up the back and get it squared up. We got to be really mindful of the hoses and such that are in the middle. We can't let it go too far. It'll stretch and break something. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people concerned that if I put this together with that repaired pin, I'm going to be putting myself in harm's way. So I got to be careful who I ask to come and help me do this because they could be accountable. So I just look for any guy that I could find.
I don't think I can do all 3 of them at the same time.
My idea is if we can get this back part picked up and square, then we'll put some jack stands under it. It obviously wants to roll backwards. So maybe we can put some jack stands underneath the back and suspend it, and we might be able to get something on the front too to kind of keep it from tipping both ways. Got more supervisors to make sure that I'm not going to kill myself. So now that we got this board out of there, I'm just going to start to lift up on that and see what it does, and just keep eyes on those hoses and the back half. And then, like I said, if we can get this suspended, we're going to have to get this upright, and we're going to have to get that one upright so that we can get in there to reassemble the components. So this has to go on there. This bolts onto the machine, and then we have to slide this part on there. It has to go through both bearings, and then this cap goes on the end. This shaft goes through the center of that, and that goes on there like that. Yep. And so this cap has to face this cylinder right here. That's the power steering. Ooh, we might want to get that straightened out. There we go. Okay. So that's got to go like that. Rick wants to clean it up down there, but I'm ready to go. We'll clean it up. We have finally gotten the roller in a position where I think we got to be able to put this repaired pin on first, and then we have to have enough room to slide the other part on. So we might have to tilt this back a little bit to gain clearance, and then we'll try to let this down into position. But this is our repaired part that has caused so much controversy. And I think before I stick it in there, I'm going to take a little drive, think it through, and be sure I'm making the right decision. So let's go hop in the truck and go for a drive. Antwerp Tool and Die. Dustin.
Neil.
How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
I'm very well. You ready for me?
Oh yeah.
All right, well this is Dustin Smith, and he owns Antwerp Tool and Die. Our families have been friends for a long, long time. Dustin's been a resource for me in the past too. I've brought some stuff over here to have made, and it's just nice to have a local shop. This is less than 10 minutes from my house, and I'm glad you were here to answer the call when I called.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of me.
Well, absolutely. So Dustin is he's the original person that I contacted when I first had trouble with this part. But I showed him pictures of what the problem was, and he gave me suggestions on a repair, and that's kind of what led us down that initial fix or attempt at a fix. I should say I kind of cut it out of the last video, but I never really meant for this to be the permanent long-standing repair. Initially we wanted to get this fixed up and get the roller put back together to make sure it worked and it operated, and then I had even talked to you about, you know, getting something made up. Once I had this back together, then you could measure it and make a new part. I shouldn't have edited that out of the video because I brought my fixed part over to Dustin, and he did some reverse engineering for me, right? A little
bit of reverse engineering.
So we're not going to probably use this, even though I want to. I want to really badly. But let's show them what we did, okay? Here's what you came up with, right?
Yep.
That looks like something brand new. Yeah, because it is, right?
Right.
So this is what everyone in the comments suggested I needed to do. And even though it wasn't really the initial plan to get it going, this is probably going to be our path forward. But tell me, what did you make this out of? And you can speak to the other machinists on there, because there's a lot of them watching this apparently.
Yeah.
But
so this part it's 8620 steel, and then it's case hardened to try to provide a strong, tough ductile core, and then we're hard on the outside so that if it slides inside that bearing housing at all, or if it rotates on the bearings, it's not going to get any undue wear. Also, with the 8620 steel, when you case harden, you get the added benefit of a through hardening.
Oh, really?
When you case harden, and it makes it an overall stronger part.
I see. So you think the original part, you were able to deduce that was 4140?
We were able to deduce that it was a 4140 with zone induction hardened bearing races.
Okay. So we chose to do just something a little bit different, but you think this is probably actually going to be stronger than the original part?
It should be a lot stronger than the original part with the undercuts in the original part.
And that's what a lot of viewers noticed that too. They noticed that on the original part, and you can't see it anymore because we welded it and then ground it back down, but there was an undercut right in the corner. And so you actually took the receiving part and measured the radius in the corner so that you could kind of create it.
Took the receiving part to check a maximum radius, and then that allowed a tool radius in the corner to make a little bit stronger part.
Gotcha. So you got done with tell me, how did you turn it down? Did you just have somebody stand at a lathe and measure and do?
We ran this through the CNC lathe and CNC mill, did the complete roughing, sent it out for hardening, and then when it came back, we retouched all the important dimensions just to make sure everything stayed true through heat treat.
Gotcha. So you start out with a big cylinder of 8620.
Yep.
And you've got your measurements all programmed into the CNC lathe. Mm-hmm. Chuck it up, and then that thing just starts eating, right?
Kind of. We do a little bit of prep work on the block before it goes in, but pretty close to that.
Yeah. And so this thing, you actually cut it dry for the very reason that so we could see it on camera, what we're watching right now?
Yeah, we cut it dry so that you could watch it cut, so you could see through the process.
Yeah, because normally it'd have a bunch of coolant splashing all over it, and we wouldn't be able to see this.
There would be coolant and chips flying everywhere inside the machine while it would be turning.
Well, I appreciate you making a YouTube accommodation for us here.
Yeah, no problem.
It's really cool to see how it gets done. So, and then once you had the turning done and all this was shaped, you had to put it in a CNC mill then too?
Correct.
And the mill bored the holes in the end to spec right here and tapped those. Does it tap them too?
Yep.
Wow. And then it bored all these holes in the bottom.
Correct.
Wow. It's amazing that you can just measure something up, plug it into a computer, and it'll produce what you want. But all right, so what's my guarantee lifespan on this here? You think I can get at least a year out of it or something? Or
I would hope at least another 2,000 hours.
2,000 hours. Well, I don't think I'll ever put 2,000 hours on it. So I was, I'm still brave.
If not longer. I could see this being a lifetime part.
Yeah, I do too. I was just teasing you, but there's going to be a core part of this audience that wants to see the repaired part put in there, but I don't know. I feel like I'd be a fool to do it, especially now that I got this, and I could just do it once and be confident in it. I feel like now after the lashing in the comments, if I put this in, I would just be in constant fear right in the thing that it was just going to buckle in half. But now I have no worries, thanks to you. So if you're around these parts, Antwerp Tool and Die is a great resource to utilize. So I thank you very much, Dustin.
Thank you, Neil.
Pleasure. And well, you can come over and take a ride if you want.
All right.
All right.
Go roll some driveways.
Yeah. Now I just got to go put it back together.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later. All right. Got my stuff. We're going to head on back home. Thanks to Dustin over there at Antwerp Tool and Die. I've got my new part. Actually, I didn't really just leave. I had this all along, but I wanted to make it look like we went and got it. So obviously the comments persuaded me. I wanted to use the part that we had repaired just to try it and see how long it lasts, because I think it would last longer than immediately, breaking immediately. A lot of people said that's going to break immediately, and some people said that's a good fix. I know that it's somewhere in between. It wasn't perfect. It was never meant to be permanent, really, but we don't need to talk about it anymore. I got a new one made. It's done properly. I have full confidence in it. So instead of having to do this twice to make sure it works and runs, we're just going to put this in there and be done with it. So it's time to reassemble. We can talk later. Okay, now we got to try to put the cap on there with the two shims. See, it goes like this. And then this goes on there like that.
Uh-huh.
We got the new shaft on there. We've got the mating part on and the cap on, and everything's all together. So now we're going to try to get the two halves mated up, put the bolts on, and then see what we got. just needs, see how loose it is? There it goes. There it goes.
That's what we're looking for.
Ready? Okay, we're trying to put the power steering pin in. I don't know which way it's got to go. Can you hand me that pry bar right there? There. Everything's bolted together. It's mated. Everything that is except for the steering cylinder. The steering cylinder must have been articulated some when it broke, because we're gonna have to turn it to get that dropped in there. But other than that, I think we're in a good spot to get all of our rigging down and backed out of the way. And then we gotta assess the engine, fuel line, throttle cable. I think the vibratory control cable is broke. So next step is to try to get it running. Okay, curiosity's got the best of me. I want to hear this engine crank a little bit. So we got the battery charger hooked up. We found the battery up underneath the seat. We're going to give her a little, must be the vibratory here, I guess. I don't know.
It's either full on or full off.
This must be the throttle, and that's the choke. And that's stuck. Well, we gave it the 10-minute go, and we haven't got it to crank over yet, so it's going to take a little bit more investigation. I think that's enough for one day. It's hot, it's humid, kind of stinky, so we'll tackle it on another day. Okay, it's a new day, but we've got the same problem. I charged up the battery. I think that's going to help out, have a little more juice, but we're still not getting anything up here. We found some broken wires that are attached to the solenoid, so I'm going to start out by getting that patched up, getting everything, all the loose ends tied up, and then we'll just start, I don't know, maybe we'll have to start throwing parts at it. I don't know. They're spliced back together. I got the battery hooked back up. It's got voltage there, so let's poke around and see what we can find. Okay, I should have power up here at this terminal, which I don't. It acts like there's nothing coming from this ignition switch, is what it seems like, because it doesn't click, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't even make the hour meter click. So I'm afraid I might have to take this shroud off of here to get at that, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I think that gas tank's got to come off. Alright, I'm just suspicious of this key and this switch here. This runs the vibratory portion of the roller. You know, when this thing split, obviously it tipped apart at the top, so something could have pulled on that ignition wire. I don't know. It's wishful thinking. I just don't feel like I'm getting any reaction from that switch. So fortunately, this gas tank is out of gas, and I think if I pull the tank off, I can pull this off, and yeah. Now we got to take all these bolts out, and then maybe we'll be able to see behind here where the ignition switch is. Okay, so right here is the problem. This plug is pulled off to the side, and you can see it's not even making contact with these anymore. So there, see how it just came off just like that. All right, let's see if I can get these straightened out at all. I'm having trouble getting in there to straighten it, so I'm just going to take this ignition switch out. You can kind of see what's going on there. It bent. A couple of these tabs were bent really badly, so I'm going to see if I can get this straightened up, and then maybe we'll be back in business. Yeah, I straightened it. I got her straightened out pretty good. Now, if I put the key in, let's see if we hear any clicking. Definite clicks. I'm going to hit the key and see if it cranks at all. So that's a definite plus in the right direction. We got it cranking. I think, you know, there was a combination of some broken wires here. Of course, this was pulled off the ignition. The next thing to get figured out is this throttle and the choke. So the choke lever, as you can see right here, it's all frayed. So I think that one's going to need a new cable. This one here, The cable was broken. You can see where it's frayed right there. Maybe I can get that broken part out, reattach it, because it's got tons of extra cable. This is the throttle cable right here. All right, so I'm trying to get an understanding of how this works so that I can hook the cable up correctly. I'm really not going to know until I get it running to be 100% confident. And to get it running, I need to probably put the gas tank back on. Before I put the gas tank on, I want to get this choke cable straightened out. So I think that's relatively boring. I'm going to take the choke cable out of here, see if I can either get it working or go source another one. Then I'll put this together, put the gas tank back on. Then we'll see if we can get this baby to fire. Then I'll mess with the throttle and stuff once I kind of know how it works. I struck out trying to find this cable. I found something similar that would probably have worked, but it was $100, and I was still going to have to cut it and modify it and make it work and drill a bigger hole. So I thought for $100 and that much work, I'll just put $50 worth of effort into this cable that I have here, and I think I can make this work. So let's take this apart and see what we can do with it. Might be getting close here to being back in business. Okay, I'm trying to bend this cable up. Choke has got full range of motion. Not bad. 6 p.m., time for a break. Gonna eat supper. We'll see. I'm getting anxious now. If I put the gas tank back on here, I'm ready to start cranking. We're getting close. All right, we'll be back. All right. Well, it is a very, very nice evening. Finally, it's cooled off outside, so I got the door up. I came out right after supper, and I took some time to put this fuel tank back on and the shield here. So I think I'm ready to crank on this guy. Put the spark plugs back in and everything hooked up. It's got gas to it now. I have not cranked it yet. Battery is charged. We're gonna see what happens. You're gonna witness it with me. Boy, it spins over easy. Oh, it's got some oil leaking. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got oil leak trouble. I'll crank it and see what I can see here. Oh, it started. It started and it's leaking like a sieve. The good news is it fired. Did you hear that? I don't want to let it run too long though, but I see where it comes out of the pump. I don't see where it goes. It couldn't be easy, and let me start it up and drive it around tonight because it was such a nice night. Okay, got it apart, got everything loose. This is the hose in question. It's right here. Goes up, does a loop-de-loop, goes up here, and it goes up to the steering orbital, which means I gotta take the gas tank off again. I was just in there, you know, looking at those steering orbital hoses and thinking these would be easy to change if a guy had to. Not knowing that I'd have to do it 15 minutes later after I already put gas in this tank. But those are the brakes. So I got a couple gallons in here. I'm probably gonna want an extra hand, or at least I don't feel like doing it anymore tonight. It's almost 9 o'clock. So if I get into that, no telling where it's gonna go. And I'm gonna have to go have a hose made. So we'll pick it up on another day, be re-energized and ready to get this thing up and running and going. All right, next time. Well, it's a Tuesday. It's my lunch break. And I'm gonna see if I can get this hydraulic line off of here, get it taken in while I'm on lunch, and get it fixed. It's an extended lunch break. First things first, I gotta take the gas line off, and I'm gonna try to plug it so that it doesn't drain all 2 gallons out of there. And then we'll take this off, and then pop this off and get the lines off. Gas line shot. This needs a new gas line. Wow, look at that. Well, now's the time to do that too, I guess. Quite a bit of oil in it. So this one's the hardest one to get to. I have to take this one off the top to access that one on the bottom. I'm going to get an angle wrench. So this is a standard combination wrench. Combination meaning it's got a combination of the open end wrench and a box end wrench. I'll show you an angle wrench. So an angle wrench has two open ends, and they are at different angles from what the standard box end would be. And it provides a lot more degrees of attack on a particular nut or bolt. So these are sometimes handy. I mean, these are a must-have if you're doing this type of hydraulic line work. Got it out. Here is the problem. Right here. Can you see that? That's where it was blown out. It's got a couple places that aren't great, but right now I'm gonna jump in the truck and fortunately drive 10 minutes to my Hicksville Napa store, and they'll make me one of these. So, okay. Well, it took them exactly 2 minutes to make that hose. Fortunately, they had all the fittings and everything I needed, and just how handy is that? It's $100 after tax, which is a little ouchy, but what are your options? I mean, you could have a crimper and all that crap at home, but how are you going to inventory everything you need all the time? You can't. So, money well spent in my opinion. So, thanks H&W. Back from Napa. Back from supper. It's about almost 7 p.m. now, and I just spent the last hour putting this all back together. I had to route the hydraulic hose in through where it needed to go, then had to resecure all the hydraulic hose fittings, and there's a bunch of tie downs and holders that go on there. Then I put this the plate back on, put the fuel tank back on, rerouted the fuel line, added a new section of fuel line, put the floor back in, and now here we are. I'm ready to try it again. It's a nice night again out there. Like to see if this thing would run long enough that I can get the throttle cable figured out and installed and tightened up. And then it's time for a test drive. Maybe. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Here we go. I know what it is. I know what it is. I wasn't recording, but I forgot to tighten. Oh my gosh. I forgot to tighten the fitting at the top of the orbital. I threaded on finger tight and I forgot to tighten it. I remember now that I forgot. That means I got to take the gas tank off again. I got to take the gas line off. I got to take... All right. It's not your problem, right? It's mine. It's 7:45. I'll report back when I get this put back together and we'll try again. All right. 8:03. So it took me 18 minutes to take it apart, put it back together. That was on me. All right, let's try again. I think it's going to work. All right, I know how the throttle is supposed to work, so I'm going to get that hooked up so it doesn't get too hot, and then we'll see if it moves and stuff. All right, I got the throttle kind of working. It's a hokey repair, probably the worst repair that some people have ever seen before, but I put a spring on there, what I had available, and it'll work until it doesn't. Throttle. So now the one thing I need to do before I can drive it is to put the pin back in the power steering cylinder, which means I have to try to turn it a little. See this pin right here? This pin needs to go in. There we go. Okay, I'm going to look for leaks. I didn't see any. It sits still really nicely. It doesn't creep at all. I don't know if that's a sign that it won't move at all, or something good. So I'm gonna try to take it off this pallet. It works. The vibrator doesn't work yet, but I think I saw the wires unhooked for that. There was 2 loose wires right here, and there's a solenoid right there that looks like could be what we want. That might be what turns on the vibrator. All right, well, so far so good. It's moving, it's vibrating, it's doing its thing. I can see how these things break because loading it just onto that little 2-inch platform, it didn't like it. And I had boards set up, go up on it, and it didn't like coming in on the concrete. So I can see how those shock loads could be impactful to that pin in the middle. I think I got to put it through a little bit longer test before I can be confident and close out this video. Maybe tomorrow even. So if I can figure out, if I can get this strapped down and loaded up on the trailer and take the skid loader with me so that I can unload it, I don't know. There's a lot of testing to do. We'll pick back up tomorrow, see if I can find a job for it to do real quick, and then we'll make a final judgment call. All right, right now I'm pretty pumped. All right, we're back on a new day. It's time for the test run. I think I've got it lined up at the park. There's some problems up there that need addressed. I'll show you when we get up there. The first problem is really, how am I gonna haul the roller on this trailer? Really what I wanna be able to do is take the skid loader along with me. So I'm gonna put on the forks, see if I can pick up the pallet that the roller is attached to, set it on the trailer first, and then hopefully there's enough room for the skid loader with it. It's gonna be tight though. I gotta put gas in it first. Almost forgot. It's on there. Now can I get the ramps up? Got it. All right, I gotta take a few minutes, get this all chained down. We'll head up there and see if we can try this guy out. First of it's right up here. Behind this basketball court. All right, well obviously we're back up here at the Harlan Park. Harlan Days was a few weeks ago and we had a big rain right before the event. And so during the event, when some people got out into the grass, it cut some pretty big ruts. And they're out here in this yard, just beyond those basketball goals is the worst of it. You could see from the drone shot just where a motorhome went through and just cut some big, huge, too much to mow through, in other words. So I've been wanting to get this put back together so that I could get up here and get it patched up. Fortunately, Aaron Platt from the ABP Rodeo Company, he came up and met me. He's gonna run my skid loader. I'm gonna jump on this roller and work with him to see if we can start getting some of that dirt put in there. So that's the plan anyway. Let's see how it goes. Oh, she wants to run. Wants to run. All right, well, you know what? I think that job required maybe a little bit bigger and heavier roller because those ruts were pretty much set up the way they were. We need more rain, more moisture, and maybe a heavier roller. I think this could do more in the spring, but as far as the roller working and performing its job, it did great. The engine ran really well and steady and even the whole time, no problems there. The vibrator worked real well. Forwards and reverse worked real nice. I'm tickled with how this roller is performing. It's going to do exactly what I want it to for what I want, and that's to finish up driveway jobs that I do. So I'm looking forward to trying it on something like that. But as far as our initial testing, I'd say we're okay. You know, we put in that new part, and I think I have the confidence in knowing that that one was built as well, if not better than the original. I'm not at any risk of getting hurt if my repaired part broke. I am a little disappointed that I didn't get to try my repaired part because I think it would have lasted longer than instantly failing. But at the same time, I always would have had it in the back of my mind too. So, you know, tell me what you think down below. Are you disappointed that I didn't try the part that Rick and I repaired? Or are you happy that I just had one remade and put in there and now I've got the confidence of it? I could see it both ways. It would have made better YouTube if I'd have put in my repaired part, I know. But it's real life, so I didn't want to do it twice either. Speaking of real life, I really am thankful that you clicked on this video. It means a lot to me. Make sure you liked it. And if I'm lucky, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Time to get home. All right, so this is going to be a wall ornament. Maybe we'll make this some kind of Dig Drive DIY trophy at some point, but I don't think I could bear to get rid of it.